this Forceberry Bakery training video. So today I'm going to show you guys how to make our cookie kits as well as our sweetbread kits that we use during the summers. So basically what you're going to be doing is putting together all of the dry ingredients and making kits for the baker so she can quickly put together our different cookies and sweetbread recipes. Whatever cookie kits you need to do will be written up on the fridge on our whiteboard under the kits we need section. Before you start measuring all your ingredients, you want to get some things ready. So since you're making kits, we're going to be doing these in bags. So you want to grab out some loaf bags. So if you're going to be doing 10 kits, you're going to need to get 20 bags ready. So after you pull out your bags, however many you need, so let's say you're doing 10 kits, get 20 bags out, you're going to mark 10 of them with the number 1 and 10 of them with the number 2. Every single kit that you make, you're going to need a number 1 and a number 2 bag. So we have a ton of Sharpies all over the bakery. In all of your number 1 bags, you're going to have the flour, your cream of tartar, your soda, and your salt. And in all of your number 2 bags is going to be your sugar. So once you have all of your loaf bread labeled with 1 and 2, you want to go grab a whole bunch of grocery bags. So however many cookie kits you're going to do, make sure you grab that number. So if you're doing 20 kits, grab 20 bags. If you're doing 10 kits, grab 10 bags. So then you're just going to write on the bag. What you're going to be writing is what they still need to put in it. So at the bottom of the recipe, you'll see what you're supposed to write on each bag. So for example, the peanut butter cookies, you're just going to be writing 2 pounds of butter and 8 eggs. So every single bag will have the same thing on it. So peanut butter, 2 pounds of butter, 8 eggs. So do that 10 times on all 10 bags, and then you can move on to your measuring. When you're measuring flour, it's really important to make sure you're using the right flour. We have 4 different types of flour in these big bins under here. So next to the sugar is going to be the pastry flour. And if you go all the way around to the metal table, underneath here is going to be the all-purpose flour. That's what the AP stands for. And then next to that will be the high gluten flour. So you want to make sure that you're using the all-purpose flour for the peanut butter cookie kits. And it'll always say on your recipe, so make sure you're paying attention to what type of flour it says on your recipe before you start measuring. And then the scale that you're going to be using is going to be over by the baker's big mixers over here. So go ahead and grab the scale. You want to make sure that your scale is above whatever flour you're going to be using. And then grab your number 1 bag. And you're going to scoop your flour into this. So before you start weighing anything, make sure that your scale is exactly on the 0. And if it's off a little bit, then you can just use the little thing at the top here and just spin it until it's directly on the 0. And you want to make sure you get down to eye level to check it. So I need to keep on scooping until I get to 3/4. Just a little bit more. You want to make sure that it's exactly on the right notch. And if it goes a little over, just take a little out. Perfect, just like that. If you were doing 10 cookie kits, you want to just do all of your flours all at once. So after you get down with 1 flour, go ahead and do the next number 1 until you get done with all 10 before you move on to the next ingredient. So you're going to be doing this kind of like assembly line style. You're not going to be going through 1 bag and doing all the ingredients all at once. You'll be doing all of the flour, and then you're going to move on to all of the baking soda, and then move on to all of the salt. And sometimes we will do this in teams just to make the process go a little faster, but it's really, really important to make sure that you keep your bags separated so that you don't lose track of what bags have flour and what bags have soda and which bags don't. So in the flour bag, you're also going to be doing your salt and your cream of tartar and your soda. So all of those ingredients are going to be back on the baker's rack. So the salt is always going to be in a big container. Looks like this. And then the cream of tartar is going to be in a little bit of a smaller container, as well as the baking soda. So those will kind of be in little Tupperwares over on the side. And you're going to need to find the teaspoons. So the teaspoon measurements are going to be over where the big mixers are, right behind. They're always hanging here. So you can pull these out. And on these, they're going to be teaspoons as well as tablespoons. So make sure you're paying attention to which one you're using. They're all labeled. So as you can see here, this one says it's a tablespoon. So the tablespoon is going to have the TB. And then the teaspoon is going to have TSP. So just make sure you're paying attention to that. If it says that you need 2 teaspoons, you'll do 2 teaspoons. But you need to make sure that it's level. So to make sure that it's level, you can grab a butter knife, or you can grab one of our little spatulas over here that has a flat edge on it. And you're just going to scoop however much ingredients that you need. And then make sure that you slide over the top to get any extra so it's completely flat. You don't want to shake it because then it could be a little too low, and you don't want to just scoop it and go for it because then it could be actually way too much, and that can completely throw off the recipe and really just make the whole thing not work. So really be diligent about your measurements and make sure that they are perfectly measured right off the top. So after you have all of your number 1 ingredients in here, make sure that you twist tie it. We're not going to use the sealer to seal these because if you do, it's really hard to reseal them and reuse the bags and everything. So just make sure that you always twist tie these. So get the air out of the bag, give it a little turn, grab a twist tie, and then just put it on the top. And then you can move on to your number 2 bag, which will be holding your sugar. So to do your sugar, you're going to do the exact same thing. Grab out your scale, make sure that the scale is evened out to 0, and then go ahead and measure out however much sugar you need. For this, we are going to need 3 1/4 of sugar. So I'll go ahead and measure that out. And then once you have your sugar measured, make sure that you go ahead and just twist tie the top of that bag as well. Grab the bag that you started with, that big grocery bag that you went ahead and wrote on, and put the number 1 and the number 2 bag inside. And then you can just go ahead and tie the bag. And make sure whenever you're done with all of your kits that you count them and change the number up on the whiteboard under the kits we need, because you want to make sure that that number up there stays accurate. So if you only did 10 kits and the whiteboard says that we need 20, go ahead and erase 20 and write 10. Because there's only 10 left that we need to make. It's really important to make sure that you're cleaning up after yourself. So if you are using the scale, make sure that you're wiping it off afterwards. If you're using any of the tablespoons or the cup measurements, make sure that you put those in the sink when you're done with them. Don't ever put any dirty products back where you got them. Make sure anything that you use goes over to the sink to be washed. And then all of the areas need to be wiped down when you're done. Make sure that you're wiping the wood bench without bleach water. It has to be just warm water. It's really important you don't put any bleach on the wood bench because it will start to disintegrate. So that's really important. Of course, you can use the bleach rags to wipe off any of the metal tables or countertops. Just make sure that you're cleaning up as you go. Don't forget to ask your manager if you have any questions, and I'll see you in our next training video, guys. Bye.